This is lesson number 15 and we are learning JavaScript by examples. In last videos we learned how to find multiples of a number, so we created times tables, and in this lesson we learn how to find factors of a number. So this is what we will be learning. You type in a number and you press enter, and the application will show you all the factors of that number, and it will tell you factors of such and such numbers are, and then it will describe the factors. So these are all the numbers that can go into 60. 1 times 60 is 60, 2 times 30 is 60, 3 times 20 is 60, and so on and so forth. So these are all the factors. So we are capturing all the factors of any number. You type in a different number and it will give you all the factors of that number. So in this lesson we'll learn how to do this, how to create this application. I will open my Sublime text editor, and you can use any editor that you want. I will save this file as, I'll save it on the desktop and save it as factors, saved as factors HTML, and basic HTML skeleton. And to make things simple, I want to use as minimum code as possible, so I will remove all this and I will just work within the body tag. I'll create a script tag. I will remove all this. This series is for beginners. I will create a variable. I'll call it num, short for numbers. I will create a prompt on the screen for user, and I will say enter a number. Okay, so let's see how far we are. I will save it and I will minimize this, and this is the application. I will open it up, run it in the browser, and I have a prompt and I can type in a number, although nothing happens. What I will do, I will minimize browser and I will open this again, text editor, and now they are side by side. Okay, so whatever we are doing, we can see side by side. Okay, so the next thing is I will create a for loop. I'll create another variable called I, and I'll assign a value of 1 to this variable. And I will link this variable to the variable number that we created earlier. I is less than or equal to num, then increase the value of I, then increase the value of I by 1. Okay, so whatever number has been typed in here, and this is a for loop. I'm creating a variable I. Here I'm saying keep the loop running as long as the value of I is less than or equal to the number that has been typed in by the user. And then if the value of I reaches the value of the number that has been typed in, then stop the loop. To curly braces, and then if num, and then we'll use a remainder operator. Percentage sign is the remainder operator. So we are dividing whatever that number has, whatever the number, we're dividing the number, whatever number has been typed in by the user, by the value of I. Initial value of I is 1. So in the first round, say for example the number is 20, the 20 will be divided by 1, and we are saying if the value leaves no remainder. Okay, if you divide 20 by 1, there'll be no remainder. Then another opening and closing curly bracket, then simply document dot write, and here I'll be using the tilde symbol, okay, which is right next to the left side of the number 1 on your keyboard. Press it once and you have these little tick signs, they're called usually, and I will put a dollar sign and another opening and closing curly bracket, and I will display the value of I. Okay, so that's how you can display what the value of I is, and the value of I will only be displayed if the value of the number is divided by I and the remainder is 0. So let's see, let's save it, refresh it, type in a number, and you have all the factors, but they're displaying as a straight line and they're mixed together. So what we can simply do, we can put in a line break, and if I save it now, refresh it, type in a number, now all the factors are visible in a vertical line, more easier to read. Okay, so we can also say document.write, opening and closing bracket, tilde sign again, the tick sign, factors of dollar sign, and then opening and closing curly bracket, and we'll say num, which will display the value of number here, and we'll say R and then a colon. Okay, so this will display a message before these values are shown. So save it, refresh it, type in a number, the factors of 75 are 1, 3, 5, 15, 25 and 75. So we have captured all the factors of 75. Save it again because we made some changes here, refresh it, type in a number, and the factors of 60 are, these are all the factors of 60. So that's how you can create this simple application. The new thing that we learned today was this remainder operator and the use of these tilde signs. Okay, so the remainder operator, what we are saying, whatever number has been typed in by the user, use that number, divide that number by the value of I. The initial value of I is 1, and then it will increment as long as the value of I remains less than 1, less than this number. Okay, so it will divide this number by 1, then by 2 and by 3, and that will only display the number if this number divided by these values and if the remainder is 0. So if I say show me all the numbers if the remainder is 2, if I save it, refresh it, type in 60. Okay, so what we are doing now, if you divide 60 by 29, it will leave a remainder of 2. If we divide 58, if we divide 60 by 58, it will leave a remainder of 2. Let's run it again, save it, refresh it, 60 again, there is only one number. So if you divide 60 by 59, it will be a remainder of 1. Run it again, type in a different number. Okay, there are 3 numbers. If you divide 75 by 2, what was the number that we typed in? Okay, so if we divide 75 by 2, you'll have a remainder of 1. If you divide 75 by 37, you'll have a remainder of 1. If you divide 75 by 74, you'll have a remainder of 1, and that's how it works. The other thing that we learned was the use of these tilde symbols. If I change it to, for example, single quote or double quote, now this is now simply a string. The value will not be shown. So you have to use this tilde symbol, which is or tick symbol, which is right next to the number 1 on your keyboard. I hope that helps. Thank you very much.